I got up for water at 2:30 in the morning. The house was dead silent until I passed my parents' study and heard them whispering behind the door. He was never ours, my mom said. If he ever finds out the truth, everything falls apart. That was the exact moment everything changed. My name, my family, my entire life. I thought I knew who I was, but they were hiding a secret so big, it almost felt like I wasn't supposed to exist. I wasn't supposed to be awake that night. It was nearly 2:30 a.m., and the only reason I got out of bed was because I couldn't sleep. The house was silent, wrapped in the kind of stillness that only happens in the dead of night. My room felt too hot, too tight. I needed water. I padded barefoot to the kitchen, passing the living room with only the soft hum of the fridge breaking the quiet. I was halfway back to my room, sipping from a glass, when I heard something. Voices, whispering. I froze. The light under the door to my parents' study was on. That was weird. They never stayed up this late. I crept closer, my heart thudding in my chest, telling myself it was nothing. They were probably watching something. But then I heard my mom say, "He can't find out. Not after everything we did to get him." My hand tightened around the glass. I leaned in, just enough to hear my dad's response. "You think I don't know that? But if he keeps digging, if he finds anything, it all falls apart." I stepped back. They were talking about me. What was I not supposed to find out? What had they done to get me? I wanted to burst through the door and demand answers, but something told me to wait, to listen. "The adoption wasn't clean, Jess," my dad whispered. "There was no paperwork. If he figures out the truth," my mom cut him off. "He won't. He's not like the others. He loves us." I nearly dropped the glass. Adoption? They never told me I was adopted. Not once. No papers. No birthdays spent with a different name. Nothing. My entire childhood had been built on bedtime stories, family photo albums, and DNA I thought was mine. But in a matter of 30 seconds, that illusion shattered. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what was real. The bedtime stories, the scraped knees, the I love yous, were those fake too? Or had they just been trying to cover something much worse? I didn't know it then, but that night would mark the last time I ever looked at my parents. The same way. You know how when something breaks, you start noticing all the cracks that were already there? That's what happened after that night. I couldn't unhear what they said. And suddenly, I couldn't unsee all the little things I'd ignored growing up. The family photo albums. Half the pages were empty. My baby photos stopped after a single page. I always thought we just lost the rest in a move. But now I realized there weren't any more dot in our hallway. There was a wall full of framed certificates, my parents' college degrees, my dad's police award, my mom's volunteer plaques. But mine? No birth certificate. No hospital photos. Just a generic first birthday picture with a cake that didn't even have my name on it. I asked mom about it casually over breakfast. "Hey, do you know where my birth certificate is? I need it for a school scholarship form." She didn't even blink. "Oh, I think it's in the attic with all the tax stuff. We'll get it later." Later never came. That night, I searched the attic myself. Dusty boxes, old clothes, a moldy crib, and then tucked inside a file labeled Taxes 2009 I found something strange. A hospital bracelet. Not mine. It said. Patient name: Liam Prescott Dobb. March 18th, 2008. Mother. Unknown room. NICU 4. I stared at it. Cold sweat crawled down my back. That wasn't my name. My birthday was April 12th, not March. And NICU? That's for newborns in critical condition. Why was this bracelet hidden with our taxes? I showed it to Dad the next day. I said I found it. While cleaning up, he looked at it once and went pale. "Where did you get this?" "Attic. With the tax files." "That's probably from your cousin's visit. He was born premature." He snatched it out of my hand before I could read it again. "I don't have a cousin named Liam." That was the first time I saw real fear in my father's eyes, and that's when I knew they weren't hiding just that I was adopted. They were hiding who I really was. I couldn't stop thinking about that bracelet. Liam Prescott. The name echoed in my head like a bell I couldn't unring. I started Googling it. I didn't know what I expected to find. Maybe a birth announcement, a hospital record, something minor. But what I found stopped me cold. Missing child. Liam Prescott Dobb, March 18th, 2008. Status: never found. Last seen at Red Pine General Hospital, Arizona. Age at disappearance: 5 days. I clicked the article. My heart started pounding. Liam Prescott vanished shortly after birth. The mother claimed her son was taken from the NICU while she was sedated. Hospital footage went missing. No suspects. No leads. The child was never seen again. My hands were shaking. The age matched. The location matched. The bracelet matched. And the grainy baby photo attached to the article? He looked like me. Same eyes. Same cheek dimples. Same cowlick on the left side. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. Could I be him? Was I Liam Prescott? It didn't feel real. And it definitely didn't feel safe to bring it up to my parents again, not yet. They had lied to me already. And something told me if I pushed too hard, they'd start covering their tracks. So I got smart. I cleared my search history. I started checking their drawers when they weren't home. I looked through filing cabinets, behind photo frames, inside, coat pockets. And then, I struck gold, or more like cash. A half-burnt envelope in the fireplace bin. The name on the return address? Prescott Family Legal Counsel Missing Children Advocacy Division. It wasn't addressed to my parents. It wasn't addressed to anyone. Just to whom it may concern. If you know where Liam is, please come forward. His sister still waits. For him. His sister. Someone out there still believed I existed. And now, so did I. The deeper I dug, the more unreal it became. Liam Prescott wasn't just a name. He was a ghost, a kid people had been looking for, praying for, mourning for. Nearly 17 years, I found archived articles, old Reddit posts, even Facebook pages made by grieving family members. His parents were once all over the news. His mother, Julia Prescott, gave dozens of tearful interviews when he disappeared. He was alive. I held him. He kicked and opened his eyes. Someone took him. Someone took my baby. The footage made my stomach turn. Her pain looked real, not performative, raw. But what really wrecked me? A video clip from a local Arizona channel recorded just a month after Liam went missing. They showed baby pictures side by side. Liam at 4 days old, and one blurry shot taken at a hospital hallway moments before the security footage was mysteriously corrupted. I stared at that screenshot, froze it, zoomed in. There was a nurse holding a wrapped bundle of blankets. The baby's face peeked out. It looked just like me. I compared the baby's ear to mine, same bend at the top, same birthmark under the chin. I'd never noticed it before, but it was there. I was spiraling. If I was Liam, then who were the people raising me? Why did they lie? And who gave me to them? I wanted answers, but I knew I couldn't confront my parents yet. Not without proof. Not without someone who knew the other side of the story. So I went back online. I posted anonymously in a missing persons thread. I think I might be someone who disappeared as a baby. I found a hospital bracelet, a name, a date. The family is still looking. What should I do? The replies came fast. Most said it was fake, a scam, or clickbait, but one message stood out. It said, "If this is real, please message me. I had a brother named Liam. He vanished when I was 6. I never stopped looking. Her name was Sadie. She was Liam's sister, and she was about to change everything." Sadie Prescott messaged me again. "Please, I'm not crazy. I just need to know. Did you ever have a stuffed dinosaur named Pickle? He used to sleep with Liam. It's a long shot." My heart dropped. I did have a green plush dinosaur when I was younger. I hadn't seen it in years, but I remembered the name clear as day. Pickle. No one could have guessed that in 01 except someone who knew me before I knew myself. I didn't reply right away. I sat on my bed, clutching the phone like it might explode. I was sweating, shaking. This was real. I finally messaged back. Yes, I had Pickle. I called him that before I could even talk properly. My mom said I named him when I was 2, but now I'm not sure she was telling the truth. Sadie replied almost instantly, "Please, can I show you something? I have a picture of you, taken before you disappeared. It's never been public. If you look like him, I'll know." She sent the file. It was scanned and old, but unmistakable. A baby maybe 8 or 9 months old with a huge dimpled grin, sitting on a picnic blanket next to a 6-year-old girl. The baby wore a yellow shirt and held a green dinosaur, and the girl, she was Sadie. I recognized her instantly from her current profile photo. I stared at the baby's face. My face, same crooked left tooth, same dimples, same slightly bent ear. It was like looking through time, like seeing a version of me I was never meant to remember. I sent her a photo of myself at the same age, one from the lone baby picture I had in our house. She replied with just 3 words. "It's really you." We started talking for hours that night. She told me everything about the day Liam was born, about the night he vanished from the NICU, about how the security cameras glitched and no one believed the nurse who said she saw a woman sneaking into the room, about how her family had been torn apart since her mother never recovered, her father drank himself into debt, and Sadie? She'd spent years following dead ends, hiring private investigators, getting DNA tests from people who might be Liam. Until now, until me, Sadie begged to meet in person. "I know it's a lot, but I think you deserve to know the truth." We both do. And I agreed. Because if I didn't face this, I'd never know who I really was. We agreed to meet in a public place, a bookstore cafe in the next town over. I wore a hoodie and kept my head down the entire bus ride. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I kept wondering, what if she's lying? What if I'm wrong? What if she looks at me and realizes I'm just some guy with a matching baby photo? But the moment I walked in, Sadie stood up from her seat and froze like she'd seen a ghost. Then she whispered, "Oh my God, it's really you." Sadie looked nothing like the little girl from the picnic photo, but the way her eyes filled with tears when she saw me, it felt like recognition deeper than blood. We sat, ordered tea, then stared at each other in silence for a minute too long. "You have the same smile," she said finally. "Same dimples. Same eyes. You even bite your lip when you're nervous. Liam used to do that all the time." I didn't know how to respond. It was like being told who I was by a stranger who wasn't a stranger at all. She pulled out a folder. Inside were dozens of things. Copies of flyers, news clippings, photo-stored notes from her mom, a letter addressed to Liam. "Read. If you're out there, we love you. We never gave up. You were ours from the moment we met you. We never stopped being your family." That broke me. I had never seen a letter like that from the people who raised me. Never felt that kind of ache, that kind of loss. Because until now, I never knew I had anything to lose. I asked her, "Why do you think I was taken? Why would anyone do this?" She swallowed hard. "We have theories. My dad had debts. He was involved in some shady business. After you disappeared, someone warned us to stop looking. My mom thinks someone took you as leverage. But that doesn't explain how I ended up with the people I call mom and dad." Sadie leaned in. "I don't think they stole you, Liam. I think someone gave you to them and paid them to raise you like you were theirs. Off the grid. Quiet." That made my skin crawl. I thought of the panic in my father's eyes when I showed him the bracelet. The way they talked that night. "He can't find out. Not after what we did." "What did they do?" Sadie pulled out one last thing. A second photo from her 6th birthday. Her arms wrapped around a toddler in a blue jacket. His face turned just slightly to the side. My face. She looked at me and whispered, "You don't remember that party, do you?" I shook my head. "No, but something about that cake looks familiar." Then she told me something that made my blood run cold. "You weren't taken when you were a newborn. You were taken after. You were with us for almost 2 years." And just like that, my entire memory of childhood shattered. What I thought was home might have been built on stolen time. I didn't go home that night. I sat in a park with Sadie until the sun rose, talking, crying, piecing together timelines, and looking for cracks that finally made sense. My parents know, the people who raised me had lied for 17 years, but I couldn't move forward without hearing what they had to say. I had to confront them. I walked into the house that morning and found them sitting at the kitchen table. As if they'd been waiting, Mom looked up, and the color drained from her face. "Where were you?" she asked softly. "With someone who knew me before you did," I said. "Her name is Sadie Prescott. Ring a bell?" Silence. My dad stood up slowly. Defensive. Nervous. "Son? Whatever she told you, stop calling me that." I snapped. "I know I'm not your son. I know everything." He sat down again fast. My mom trembled. Her voice cracked. "We didn't steal you. We didn't plan for this. We were trying to have a baby for years. Nothing worked. Then this nurse approached us and said there was a child who needed a home. No questions asked. We thought she was from a shelter." "You didn't think to ask questions when you accepted a child with no records? No ID? No legal process?" She said the records would come later. That it was an emergency adoption, my father muttered. "We were desperate. We just believed her. No background checks? No agency? Nothing?" My mom's hands were shaking. "She told us, if we didn't take you, someone else would. Someone worse. We thought we were saving you." I stared at them, disgusted. And when the news hit, when Liam Prescott vanished from the NICU, when you saw the missing child reports with my face, what then? No answer. So I kept pushing. "Did she pay you?" They looked at each other, and that silence told me everything. "It wasn't about the money," my mom said quickly. "At first, we refused, but she insisted. She gave us cash in a brown envelope, said it would help us disappear and start over. So we moved here, changed our names, buried everything." I was shaking. "You bought me. You hid me. You erased a life I was supposed to live." Dad's face hardened. "We gave you a life. You would have ended up dead, or worse. We raised you, loved you. No, you lied to me. For 17 years. You let a family think I was dead." I walked out before they could say anything else. I didn't want their apologies. Not yet. Outside, Sadie was waiting in her car. I got in, slammed the door. They didn't take me, but they knew. She didn't say anything, just nodded. "Then? There's someone else," I whispered. "Someone bigger. The nurse who gave me away. The one who got paid." "Do you think we can find her?" Sadie asked. "We have to, because if she's still alive, she knows everything. Finding her wasn't easy. All we had was a name, Mara Sullivan, a former NICU nurse at Red Pine General Hospital. She vanished 2 weeks after Liam Prescott went missing and had never been officially charged, just under review. No follow-up, no trace. But Sadie had spent years learning how to dig where others gave up. She was relentless. And after days of scraping obscure forums, voter registries, nursing databases, and one very sketchy genealogy site, we found a hit. Margaret S. Reynolds, Flagstaff, Arizona. Same birth date. Same middle initial. Retired. Living under a married name. No kids. It took 2 more days to track her down to a trailer on the edge of town just outside the city limits. Quiet. Deserted. Forgotten. We drove in silence. When we got there, I expected a monster, but the woman who answered the door was thin, gray-haired, sunken-eyed. She looked tired, like someone who'd spent years hiding from ghosts. And when she saw me, her face went pale. "Oh my God. I thought I'd never see you again." Sadie stepped forward. "You remember him?" "Of course I do," she whispered. "I never forgot him. I never wanted to do it." She let us in without resistance. The inside of the trailer was sparse worn couch, dusty shelves, a photo of a younger woman holding a newborn. Her face cut out of the picture. We sat in silence until I finally asked, "Why did you take me?" Her hands trembled as she poured tea. None of us drank. "Your father, the real one, owed people. Bad people. He was in deep with a group that laundered money through fake medical grants. He used hospital records to move cash. Got caught. And when he didn't pay, they came for something else. Me." She nodded. "I was just a nurse. I had debts too. I wasn't even supposed to be working that night. They offered me a deal. Take the boy, make it look clean, walk out the back door. I was promised protection, money, freedom. So you kidnapped me for money?" Her eyes welled up. I was supposed to hand you off to someone else. But when I saw your face, I couldn't. You were innocent. You had dimples and you laughed in your sleep. I couldn't give you to them. So I went to someone I knew. Someone desperate for a baby. I gave you to them. And ran. Sadie sat frozen. You let my mom believe he was dead for 17 years. I sent letters, Mara said. Anonymous ones. I told them he was alive. That he was okay. I couldn't say more. I was scared. Why come forward now? I asked. She looked at me like I already knew. Because they never stop watching. And if you're back, if you're making noise, they'll want to finish what they started. Who are they? Sadie demanded. Mara leaned forward, voice barely above a whisper. Your father worked for a private network. It doesn't have a name, but they own judges, doctors, even orphanages. They don't want attention. And Liam, you're a crack in their silence. She gave me a flash drive. I kept a copy of everything. Documents, payments, patient swaps, aliases. It's all there. But if you open that door, she looked at me with haunted eyes. You better be ready to burn the house down. The drive home from Mara's trailer was dead silent. Sadie didn't say a word. Neither did I. I held the flash drive in my hand the whole way, like it might disappear if I blinked. Inside that tiny piece of plastic was the story of my entire life and the map of a criminal system so big, even the cops were afraid to name it. When we got back to Sadie's apartment, we locked every door, drew the blinds, and plugged in the drive.at first. It was just PDFs, hospital transfers, forged signatures, old employee rosters. But then we found the encrypted folder, L. Prescott Confidential. Inside, audio recordings between Mara and her contact, a man named Keller, payment confirmations to accounts under aliases. That linked back to Shell Corporation's photos of medical files with my name crossed out and transferred, stamped over them, an itinerary showing a flight booked for me to Mexico 4 days after my kidnapping, and a final message. Terminate the asset if transfer fails. That was the moment everything clicked. I was never supposed to live. I was a bargaining chip, a piece of leverage. When the deal failed, I became a liability. They didn't want me hidden. They wanted me gone. I sat in silence, staring at the words. Sadie read over my shoulder and whispered, they tried to erase you. I looked at the wall, at my reflection in the TV screen, but they didn't. Sadie stood, grabbed her laptop, and started recording everything. We copied the drive, uploaded it to multiple cloud accounts, stored physical backups in hidden folders. We were preparing for war. Then came the knock at the door. 3 soft raps. Not urgent, not loud, but controlled. Sadie and I looked at each other. She mouthed, don't answer. Another knock. This time, followed by a voice. A calm male voice. Liam, we don't want to hurt you, but you're making a mistake. There's still time to come home. Home. They were watching us, listening. They knew. Sadie called the police. But when they arrived 10 minutes later, no one was there. No car, no footprints. Just a business card slipped under the door. Blank, except for a phone number and a line that read, sometimes the truth should stay buried. That night, I didn't sleep. I wasn't scared anymore. I was furious. For 17 years, they erased me, rewrote me, hid me. But now, I had a name, I had a voice, and I was done being their secret. I changed my name back the next morning. Liam David Prescott. I wrote it down on paper. I said it out loud. I stared at it until it felt real. It wasn't just a name, it was mine. Stolen, hidden, smothered, but never truly gone. Sadie helped me contact a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, a former federal prosecutor turned whistleblower. She reviewed the flash drive and said 5 words. This could take down giants. We met in secret. Off-grid. Rotating hotels and burner phones like we were fugitives. But we weren't hiding, we were preparing. Because when I went public, it had to be undeniable. We filed the petition. DNA results. Documentation. Everything. And then I made the choice that changed everything. I recorded a video. It was just me. One camera. One room. One truth. My name is Liam Prescott. I was kidnapped when I was 2 years old. I was raised under a different name by people who claimed to love me but knew what they were hiding. This flash drive contains the truth. The people responsible are still out there, and I'm done being silent. I posted it everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Twitter.it exploded. Within 48 hours, the name Liam Prescott was trending worldwide. News crews parked outside Sadie's apartment. The Prescott family released a statement through their lawyer. We never stopped hoping. If this is truly our Liam, we welcome him home with open arms. I took the DNA test on live stream. The results, 99.99998%. Matched to Julia Prescott. My mother, my real mother, collapsed on camera. My father didn't speak. I didn't ask him to. They tried to welcome me back. But you don't just walk back into a life that was stolen. You rebuild it. Slowly. Carefully. Truthfully. Mara Sullivan was arrested 3 weeks later. So were 2 former hospital administrators. The investigation spread like fire, unearthing decades of illegal adoptions, backdoor payments, and medical blacklists. They called it the Prescott leak. I called it justice. Sadie and I, we talk every day now. She still keeps Pickle, the old green dinosaur, on a shelf in her room. Sometimes when I see it, I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Because it's proof that no matter how hard someone tries to erase you, truth finds a way. And so does family. If this story gripped you, shook you, or left you speechless, imagine living it. My name is Liam, and I got my life back one secret at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life mysteries, family secrets, and stories that prove the truth always finds its voice. Subscribe now and never miss what they tried to bury.